welcome fellow Lucinda Berry fan, or someone who just wants to know if the books could be for them. I like to say that she is one of my favorite thriller authors, so do with that what you will. Lucinda Berry actually was a former psychologist for childhood trauma. So most of her books, honestly all of her books, center around children and messed up stuff that they've been through. Messed up trauma, you would say. And I've read 10 of her books so far, and I'm not done. I want to read more, and I will read more. But I've read 10, so I want to rank them. Firstly, Lucinda Berry, if you see this, probably not a chance at all, but if you see this, just know I love you, and you responded to me once. And I was just like, I was really awestruck, honestly, and I was just so excited. And I also talked to you on a live before. Oh my gosh, it's like we know each other already. But these are all of the 10 books that I've read from Lucinda Berry and how I rank them. Obviously, I would recommend the top 5 of mine. However, I would still recommend the bottom 5 because, for one, my number 1 could be your number 10. You never know. For 2, they were all good. I had a good time with all of them. But also, I would like to do an honorable mention of one of our own because JJ from Criminal Minds narrated that. And I haven't read it yet. It's only on Audible, and I just haven't got to it yet. And I really want to read it because I had the biggest crush on JJ. Oh my god, I want to listen to her tell me a story. Thank you. Especially something to do with psychological thriller, please. Oh, also, I'm also on TikTok and Instagram. I never really posted on Instagram, but this notebook has been in a lot of my TikToks, so you've seen it a lot there if you've followed me from TikTok. But this is its first introduction here to YouTube. Hi. Of the 10 books would be these 2, only because I don't remember much about them. I'm sure I had a good time during them. You know, sometimes you read a book and then you just kind of forget what they were about. That's kind of what this is. So for 10, I have The Secrets of Us, which was about sisters with a secret. Foster sisters with a secret. I really don't remember much about it. Let me just look up in here. Lucinda Berry. I'm sorry. They're former foster sisters, and they've always been there for each other. You could read this. I'm not going to do that. But one was committed to a hospital after trying to kill her husband. And then number 9 was If You Tell a Lie. So I'm going to go ahead and go to that one as well. It's the camp story. Right. They're children and they had a crush on a camp counselor. Camp tennis coach. And he ended up murdered, and this goes into 20 years later whenever someone knows the secret and was bringing it up. So those are my 9 and 10. Okay, so now these are, I'm starting to remember them. Number 8 would be The Best of Friends. I remember the friend group and everything, but it's not up higher because the friend group kind of annoyed me. It was like these 3 best friends and their 3 sons, and they didn't realize if they didn't think that they knew their own children, and they were like, do they even know each other? And it was just kind of a secret like that because one of the sons was murdered by the other son, supposedly, and we have to figure out what really happened, if that happened. So it was good, but it wasn't like, I don't know. There's this other story with a friend group that I like more. And then number 7 would be Off the Deep End. So she has a crash, and like she crashes into like a lake or something, and she has her kid and her kid's friend in the back of her car, and she tried to save one of them from drowning, and she saved the wrong son because she didn't save her own son. She saved his friend, and that has a lot of guilt that eats up at her throughout that whole book. And there's a weird relationship between her and that friend, not like sexual relationship or anything, but like just a weird one. I enjoyed it. It was a good time. Number 6 is one of the first ones that I've ever read, and I had so much potential. I had like so much potential on it, but then I guessed the ending. So it kind of sucked that I guessed the ending, because because I love getting taken by surprise, but I was like, because number 6 is When She Returned. It's about a cult. This girl lost her mom to a cult, and now the daughter's like 16 years old, and the mom came back when she returned, and it kind of goes about like how to bring her back into their lives and make it normal. And then obviously the dad is like, you've been gone for so long, you left me, what's going on, why are you here? And I am interested in cults, kinda. I kinda like to read up on them and study them and stuff, so I was like, oh, that wasn't a surprise. I guessed what was gonna happen pretty fast. But I still have it up to number 6 because it still had to do with a cult, and I had a great time with that, at least. It's just so interesting to see in the minds of people in a cult. Okay, so 4 and 5 was hard because I like them both equally. However, they're still the top 5. It's still the top 5, so that's good. But I was like, I don't know which one to put where. And so Lucinda Berry fans out there are probably gonna get mad at me for this, but number 5 will be Saving Noah. There's just so many books that I love that are a favorite from her that even Saving Noah is a number 5 for me. It's hard to read for sure. Like, I love the dark, disturbing books. Give those to me. It's about a mom with a son that ends up being a pedophile, and she kind of defends him because like that's her son, and she wants to be that good mom. But it's kind of hard. Your son is a pedophile, and the twist of that was did not see that one coming. But I would say definitely check trigger warnings on that one because it's tough. So the number 4, the one that I was like, I don't know which one I want to put on here, but then I was like, I even bought this book for a friend because I was like, you need to read it. It was her birthday. Here you go. And that would be Phantom Limb. I still think about the ending. That ending, unexpected. I was so mind blown. It's about these twins, and one of the twins have like a problem, and so they ended up going to a psychiatric hospital. And you just like, you learn about both the twins and her staying in the mental hospital, and like you get to see like, also trigger warning there, they went through some bad things as children. But the ending, I still think about that. Oh my gosh. Alright, the top 3. Now, have you ever wanted to punt a kid? Because I have, and that is with The Perfect Child. I hated that kid. I was like, this is just a kid. This is just a kid. I had to keep telling myself that. It's fine. I don't like this kid. Horrible. Horrible. Horrible kid. Why are we like this? And then the dad kept pissing me off. I was like, I can't read this book. And that's also why I loved it so much, because of how frustrating it is. Because basically it's this couple and they adopt a kid, and let's just say the kid is not the perfect child. Tell you what, I can't stand that kid, and I'm still mad at that kid, and I shouldn't be that mad at a kid, even though that kid's not real. My top 2, this was hard, because I was like, oh, I don't know, because like, the number 2 ended up being my top, like, not as dark read, and my number 1 ended up being my top dark read. So that's why I kind of put it that way, because number 2 is Keep Your Friends Close. It was about like these mothers in a group. These mothers like are in like this suburban mothers, and they're in like this mother group and this mother club, and they're just, one of the members of the club dies, and then you kind of have to like figure out who did it and like what's going on. And like obviously it's Lucinda Berry. She had like some like what the fuck is going on moments, and I was like, oh. And then the ending, I was just like, okay, I didn't see that one coming. Now my favorite one, definitely another check your trigger warnings. It's called Appetite for Innocence. It means what you think it means. It's these 2 girls, they get kidnapped by a man, because of course it's always a man, isn't it? And they kind of, you know, I don't want to give anything away, but they kind of like, they have to figure out how to live after being captive and after living that life, and things happen and secrets come up, and also awful, awful, awful things that he does. No. It made me feel a lot of feelings. It was definitely dark for sure, but that's why it was my favorite. But those are my top 10 Lucinda Berry movies. My top 10 Lucinda Berry books. Have y'all read them? And if you have, what is your favorite? And do you have something that you strongly disagree with me? Or do you have something that you strongly agree with me? And if you haven't read them, which one do you think sounds good? Which one do you want to read? And then subscribe to me for more of this. I would love to make book content, and I also like my planner, so I want to do planner content as well. Also, again, follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I'm going to try to post more on there. But yeah, thanks for watching.